River Falls Wildcat Volleyball Coaches preseason show. Thanks for coming tonight. The artist Rob Derry is on camera, and the Godfather Kevin Westhouse is in the hot seat in the director's chair. And I'm Greg Peters, and with us tonight, Coach Sarah Cayley. She's entering her 15th volleyball season. You have senior Marvin Maddie Range. We have the Biscuit, Abby Gilbertson, the Slasher, Maddie Asher, and the Pilot, Ava Peters, all seniors. Ladies, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us, Craig.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, well, we have a good crowd. Who brought the snacks tonight?
The event planning committee.
Who was on that event planning committee, by the way?
Raise your hand if you're on the event planning committee. So we've got Maddie Range, Maddie Asher, Addie Nesbitt, and Charlie Sigleski.
Good job tonight.
Yeah,
guys.
they
Good
did
job.
the setup, they did the snacks.
And they were in the gym practicing early. They all drove over to Wisconsin Rapids to watch the football game last night.
We
Wildcats
adjusted our
1-0.
We adjusted our Thursday practice schedule to get them out of here and on the road early, and then adjusted today knowing they were coming back late. So, big win for the Wildcats.
Yeah, good football win. Well, we got volleyball coming up on Saturday in Appleton. You guys are heading out early tomorrow for a scrimmage game, but let's talk about the show. I mean, talk about the season. So, Coach, you always have awesome hashtags and team mottos. Tell me about your team hashtag and motto this season.
You know, going back to last year, knowing we had a lot of players that were inexperienced in certain positions, I wanted them to know that with the New Day motto, they didn't have to be the teams that came before them. Like, it's just a new way to do things. It's their way of doing things. But the secondary hashtag of Big Dreams was like, our goals haven't changed. They're still what they are. I was just so proud of our group last year and the way they finished the season out and came together. So this year's hashtag of Fight On kind of picks up where that one left off. I'll let Maddie tell you where the second hashtag came from. So the second hashtag is Out Team.
Out as an out team?
O-U-T,
okay.
And then team.
Okay.
When I sent it to the people that do our shirts, they thought it should have been our team. So they were like, is this a typo? And I'm like, nope, just roll with me. It's Out Team. So Maddie, where did that come from?
Well, last year on our way to state, we stopped and watched the Wisconsin-Purdue volleyball game. And we got to have a pep talk with one of my best friends, Kelly Sheffield, the Wisconsin.
Coach Kelly Sheffield.
My best friend. Yep. And he brought us in for a pep talk, and we told him we were going up against DSHA. We knew that they were going to be pretty up there more than us. And he was like, if you guys want to win, you have to out team your opponent.
I got it.
Yeah, he gave us a really good speech about you're going to deal with adversity. Your back's going to be up against it. Even the best teams, Purdue took a set off of Wisconsin that night. So when their back's against the wall, you got to be able to look at the people next to you and know that they want to be in the fight. And when you know that everybody wants to be in the fight together, that's when you can persevere because you're out teaming your opponent.
Yeah, outplay, out hustle, out team them. I got it. All right. Well, you talked a little bit about last year's team was up and down. There were some really good points, some times where you go who is this team? But
I never said that, Greg. You might have.
You're right. But you went into the section or playoffs, with a 6 seed, and you played a loaded Memorial team, but you ended up, going to the state tournament. What was the big reason that that the team last year just improved so much at the end of the year? How did that happen?
Forming, storming, norming, and performing.
I've heard that before.
Yes. We talk about it every year. I was thinking of you when I said it, Amelie. That's something she shares out at every practice, and I usually say it in the wrong order. The first 2 to 3 weeks of your season, your team's forming, and you're coming together, and it's yay, we're all excited, volleyball starting, we're all on this team together. And there's really no conflict at that point. And then you get into that storming phase, and we're starting to play more matches. So people are really jockeying for their positions on the team, for playing time within that position, for set distribution, for whatever you want out of that experience. You're fighting for it at that point in time. And if you've built trust and you've established positive culture, you can settle into that norming phase where people really accept their role and they recognize that everybody has value, everybody's contributing, our roles look differently, but we all have to be in it together in order to be successful. And if you can hit that phase, then you can be performing. And that's usually your playoff run. And that's what our team last year did. There was a huge amount of trust that was built and respect for one another. And even though roles were different, people accepted them and they did them to the best of their ability. And we played well at the right time. Yeah,
and the other thing too, it seemed like you guys, the girls got they got so battle tested. And I mean this, Amelie, I mean this in a good. This is a good story, right? But so I remember walking out in the parking lot after the game, and Amelie had got, sat down in one of the matches at St. Michael, and like, yeah, she's never been put on the bench before. Like, she got battle tested. She got stronger. She got better.
Yeah, your growth is never linear. We played Chippewa Falls at home to open the season, and using Amelie's example, she was lights out. We would not have had that reverse sweep that night had she not played the way she did. But like you said, your growth isn't like this. It's like, okay, I took 2 steps forward. Now I've got to figure this, thing out in serve receive, or I've got to figure out what to do when the set's in this location, or things like that. And with our schedule being as tough as it is, you don't have time to stop and really think about it. You're doing it in play, in the moment, against some of the best teams in the state. So yeah, our team last year had to figure things out and make adjustments as we went through the year. But the great thing about that group, and I think that's what we're starting off with this season, is that they learned from every experience. It wasn't like we did it and then 2 weeks later we're having the same conversation. It was like, we did it, we addressed it, we learned from it. Now we can build on that and move on to something different because they grew through it.
Well, I think a good example last year of your coaching style, it was in the section finals and you were playing Memorial, and you had a timeout pretty close to the end of the match, and you pulled Ava aside, and I didn't hear what it was, but I'm assuming it was a pretty spirited one-on-one conversation. But then you grabbed Maddie back before the team went back out on the court. What did you tell her, and why did you do that?
We were at that breaking point and just a back and forth. We needed that set 4. We couldn't have gone to 5 and been able to sustain the same energy level that we were playing with in set 4. And Ava being new to running that 5-1 last year, because the year before she was, playing behind Morgan and learning from her. But I just needed her to know that at that point in time, the team needed her to really dial it in. I needed her leadership. I needed her, her play on the court. Like, there was no time to stop and think. Sometimes you got to get out of your own way and not overthink things and just be in the moment and go do. So yes, it was spirited. It was.
Well, what did you tell Maddie? But then you grabbed Maddie real quick. What did you tell her?
I told Maddie I needed her to love Ava up because I was so far up in it right then that, like, as a leader, I needed her to be the softness to where I came in hard.
Right.
And I remember the next play, Ava made a play, and it was like a routine play. It wasn't anything, Maddie acted like she had just won the national championship. I'm like, okay, maybe that wasn't authentic, but needed at the time. And the 2 of them being captains for us last year, I felt like I had that rapport where I could expect a lot from one and have the other one kind of offset it, and they played those roles well together.
So last year was a little bit different year. I think River Falls Wildcats they've been used to being the kind of the top dog, and not only in the conference but also kind of the section in the, and last year we kind of were in an underdog role. What did you learn as a coach last year?
Well, I think it was less for me learning and more for them. I remember being in a tournament early in the season, and the first match didn't go well. We kind of regrouped. We had a little meeting, and somebody said, "We're just not used to losing." And I'm like, "Yeah, but every year you have to show up with the pieces you have. You have to figure out how to put them together. You have to learn your roles." And even though we had really good volleyball players at the start of the season, we had to figure out how it all fit together.
Right.
So I think for me, it was constantly making adjustments and shifting and just trying to figure out how to get the best out of them individually, and then what that looked like for us as a group. Like I said, with every step of the way, they were learning, and that's fun as a coach. Like, okay, they've got this. Let's build on that now.
Yeah, and every year is a new year, so this is a new year we're just about to be in, and so we have some new player. We have a ton of kids back, but the slasher, Maddie Asher, is new to the varsity team this year. Talk about Maddie.
She's delightful. She smiles all the time. Yeah, we had a ton of DS's tryouts this year. I think there was 28 total out of 66 athletes at tryouts that were defensive specialists. That was just crazy. And having 2 returners, that made it kind of slim on our roster. What do we do with another DS? And I had a really honest conversation with Maddie. I appreciated it so much because I'm like, what do you want out of your experience? This is what I feel like we can offer. This is what you're thinking. And we talked about what that might look like for her and for us. And she said, yep, I'm in. Let's go. I want to do this. And I sent her a text a couple days ago after I got home in the evening, and I just said, I am so glad you decided to play this season, because it can be hard when you come in and you're like, okay, I'm the X number DS and I'm a senior and I haven't been in this environment before. I don't know what I'm getting into. But I said, you have elevated our level of play. Like, you're so good from a culture standpoint with our team. The girls love you. I love you. So it was a good fit, and I'm glad that she and I had that dialogue before we made a decision, because it's got to be right for all of us. And we would be missing a piece of our puzzle had she opted not to play this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, the slasher, Maddie Asher, right there. So the River Falls Sports Broadcasting team has done something that I have never done, but we did a nickname change after 2 years. Abby Gilbertson was the Tasmanian Devil, and it's a good nickname.
It wasn't.
But it just didn't. That nickname was made up by Mike Cayley, and it was a good. He's had a ton of them, him and Rob. But this one,
Rob's like, I didn't do it.
To me, it just didn't fit, it just didn't fit right. But I watched you play. I watched Abby play over in Appleton, a few weeks ago, and when you guys had the scrimmage over there, and this is how I formulate it. Like have you ever seen the movie Seabiscuit?
Oh yeah.
So it's a little bit undersized, a little bit underrated, but just a huge heart, and there's talent, and it was showing a month ago.
Yeah.
And and so we're gonna call her the Biscuit now. And,
I love it.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
And just so you know, it's not like a biscuit that you eat. It's a racehorse scenario. Watch
Right,
it if you haven't. It's good.
Right. But just talk about what the Biscuit Abby Gilbertson brings to the team.
I've loved watching Abby's growth over the years. She and I chatted the other day at practice, and I said, I took you as a sophomore, and she's so quiet and so mild-mannered that I think she probably got into our gym and was like, what have I signed up for, right? And was a little timid. You could tell lacked the confidence, and she has grown. The way she presents right now, we did a youth camp before the season started, and she was directing traffic. She was giving instruction to kids, and I came up to her and I said, for 2 years I've been kind of on you about this, and I'm seeing it. Like, your takeaway from sports is more than just a college scholarship or whatever. It's, can I show up on time? Can I be dependable? Can I get out of my comfort zone a little bit? And I'm a soft-spoken person, but can I be a leader and assert myself in this group? And those are all the things that she's doing now. So as a coach, for me, I know that at the end of the season, I'm going to send her off and out into the world. It's like parents when your kids go off to college, right? I'm so proud of her development, and I know she's going to take that into whatever she chooses to do in life because she's got those skills, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your two captains. So they're both Maddie and Ava were captains last year. They're captains again this year. But Ava got moved to a setter. After going into club season in 9th grade, and
it was right before high school. I talked to her that summer,
and
I said, "What do you think about being a setter?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I've never thought about being a setter." Well, this is what we're gonna do. So she was on board, and she was open and willing to do it.
But tell I guess. What's a good story about Ava that kind of that sums up how you feel about her?
Oh, geez. Well, Ava's, for me, kind of comic relief because she knows when to be serious. She always works hard, but I can always something funny. So it's not even an on-court thing. I remember taking the team last year to do a board painting. We had these round boards. They were volleyballs. We had stencils and everything. And there was the type A end of the table where we all had our stencils laid out. I think Adie had an ombre with all of her colors. I'm getting mad every time the paint's under the tape. I'm starting over, right? I think Ava slapped some paint on that thing in 3 minutes, and they had music playing, and she was reliving her childhood of just dance. And so she was down there doing all these dance moves, and that's what we need. We need the super serious people, and we need the people that know how to have a good time. And for me, that's Ava. When I feel like I'm getting too serious, she can kind of bring me down. I can chew her out in a timeout. She can go out there and play. She takes that feedback, and then as soon as the match is over, I can hug it out with her, and she knows that I care.
Right.
Just a really mature, fun relationship.
Talk about Marvelous Maddie Range. The thing about her, she's so solid on the court. I mean, she adjusts better on a set that maybe isn't right on point, and she adjusts very well. She's extremely good at defense. She has incredible passing. You've had some outstanding hitters over your 14-year career. How does Maddie Range rank up with all those? And
she's number 62. No, I'm just kidding. Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I mean she's. And I'm talking about all around play, like
an Emily Bannett,
all
Hallie
around the court.
Olsen,
just solid as a rock.
Her development. Her first year, she was a varsity player who, was really there just to develop. Sophomore year, she was a 3 rotation, right side, moved her to the left side. Junior year, and she had to take on such a responsibility. She didn't get that transition ease into the playing role, and I think that she learned a lot through last season. I loved watching her play in the off season. It was just fun to see that she continued her growth. It didn't stop in November. She continued to get better and better. So she's going to have a phenomenal senior year. I'm excited with her commitment to Southwest, they'll get to watch her when we go to Marshall. And I think she's just continuing to gear up for what her college career is going to be, because her development hasn't stopped. It's been on the go.
Well, so that's a good segue. We'll go. So Maddie, for the folks that are watching out there, tell them and tell us a little bit of something about yourself that nobody else knows.
Well, my fingers are double jointed, so they actually don't straighten.
Now you got to show us. Zoom in,
is that
Rob.
Is that how you
Zoom
adjust?
in.
Is that how you adjust so well on hits?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay.
So this is them when I'm not trying to double joint them, but then they go like this.
Okay, give them a peace sign.
Do you get that from your dad, Pete?
Yeah, everyone in my family has it.
Oh, well, you couldn't have missed it. So Maddie, you have a cat named Marvin. How did Marvin get his name?
Well, I got Marvin like 3 years ago. It was right after my freshman season, and that's when I got like my nickname Marv. And I figured like this was my cat, like I should probably name it after myself. And so me and my mom were kind of just thinking of names, and we came up with Marvin, and we were like, this sounds pretty good. And then we were like, who has really good pet names? Like the Peters family does. So we asked Ava to ask you to give you like your recommendation for a cat name, and you also said Marvin.
Out of nowhere too.
Yeah, we were like, it's a sign. So
yeah.
Did you know that the Peters cat and our cat are siblings? That's a fun fact.
Yep.
I shouldn't say our cat. It's Mike's cat.
Ella and Morgan.
I don't want to take credit for it.
Saved those
mine.
cats from extinction.
Yes.
They did, and they're both still around. So let's do a little rapid fire question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So favorite movie?
The Grinch.
Favorite song on your playlist right now?
The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived by Taylor Swift.
Okay. Favorite actor or actress?
Glenn Powell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's he in? I don't know him.
Twisters. He's a cowboy storm chaser.
Okay. If you could invite any one person to dinner, living or passed away, who would it be?
Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Okay.
I could have answered that for you. That's all I hear in the Suburbans when I'm driving.
A lot of Taylor Swift. What is your favorite cheer that students do at a game?
I always like a "You Can't Stop Her."
Okay, I like it.
That's a good one.
Favorite River Falls restaurant?
Mariachi Loco.
That's good. Good call. All right, we'll go back to volleyball now. So in your 9th grade year, you made it to varsity. You're on the ones team in in club, and then in 10th grade, you went to the twos, and then 11th grade, you not only came back to the ones. Me personally, I thought you were the top player on the team, and in the club season. What did that hurdle, that little setback? What did that do for you?
I feel like when it first happened, it was like a reality check for me. It was like, it really just showed me that if I want something, like I'm in charge of like working hard for it and like getting there myself. So like my 16th year, like when I was on the twos, like I went to ETS like way more than I did the year before, like up my vertical like 4 more inches, and just like got stronger, and just like being able to have so much on-court time on that team, I feel like really just like kept developing that. And then I feel like just learning that also helped continue into 17's year, because I didn't start out having a starting position on that team either. So I was having to fight for that spot too. And I feel like that just kind of carried over.
Yeah, and I think some of like Ava for sure. You guys you're so battle tested. Like just not only just in high school but in club stuff, and that's why that's why I think like there's at no point in this season, no matter how far you guys go, like it's not going to be too big for you.
Right.
And talk about that. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like we all just have a lot of trust in each other. Like we know that if someone is like performing really good, like we know that we can trust them to keep doing that. And if someone's not at their top level, like we know, like we have each other's backs and are able to support them through that.
I think it's important too, Greg,
yeah,
going back to that, like you can only control what you can control. So she couldn't control the team that she was placed on, but she could control how she responded to that, So changing her commitment to ETS or the skill nights, or, just her role within that group. And I think owning that and doing what you can do, then you're putting the pressure back on the other people to say, okay, now where do you place me? Which was back on her ones team.
Yeah, so you have 2 older brothers, and so if your dad Pete, if he had to say, hey, who's my favorite kid, who do you think he would pick?
Well, I mean, I think it probably should be me.
Yeah.
But I would probably have to say Jacob.
I was gonna say it's not.
Well, we were just kidding. I'm sure he loves all you just the same.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Coach talked about it, alluded to it just a little bit ago, but so you're headed to Southwest Minnesota State next year on a volleyball scholarship, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And what did you like best about, I know you visited quite a few schools, but what did you like best about Southwest State?
I really just loved how competitive it was in their gym. I've gotten to play with them a couple times now, and just like being able to oh my gosh, the rallies are so long. Like it's just so competitive. Like the digs are huge. Everyone's taking big swings, and it's just really fun.
The conference
yeah,
too,
the conference is also super competitive.
Oh,
like
that's the best D2
Right.
conference in the country.
So every match, like you're having to compete hard.
Right, for sure. When you were in elementary school, which former Wildcat volleyball player was the one you looked up to most?
I'd say Emily Bannett.
That's a good one.
Yeah, she was my ball girl when I was she was like my ball girl big sister when I was in like 3rd grade.
Okay. This is the last two questions for you. Which current Wildcat teammate is the best driver on the team?
Well, me and my girl Liv Derry drove to Wisconsin Rapids yesterday, and I would say she did a pretty good job.
Good work, Goose. Which Wildcat teammate is the most intense?
I mean, I could also say Liv for this answer.
Okay. Goose Derry?
Yeah,
she
I'd say
drives
Goose.
intensely. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I guess you gotta have both to have a good skill set there in driving. Pass it over to the Biscuit, Abby Gilbertson. So we talked about it. I made a nickname change with you. You're okay with that and everything?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Which nickname do you prefer?
The Biscuit.
Yeah, for sure.
I do too.
It's solid.
Well, one of the reasons I did it too, but it's also like it gives a lot more possibilities for making play-by-play calls. I mean, you got the Biscuit with the jelly roll shot, or the Biscuit, the Biscuit's rising up. Or,
The Biscuit's rising up.
yeah,
Put the biscuit in the basket.
you got that one too. You got the Biscuit put some melted butter on that swing. Do you have any play-by-play calls for me for the season?
I just got the Biscuits cooking.
Oh.
I like it. I like it already. Other than your nickname, but what are you most excited about this season?
I'm excited to see how our team grows throughout the season. We're working really hard right now, and I'm excited to see how we develop and how far we'll go.
Okay, good answer. How important is being a good teammate to you?
I think it's very important that we have each other's backs all the time, and we're just like super supportive and encouraging to each other, even in the hard times.
How do you try to be a good teammate?
Even if like I see a teammate struggling, like I make sure like you got the next one, like just making sure that they aren't too hard on themselves.
Did you see that last year too? Like I kind of noticed it at there was a lot of early in the season, even kind of middle, like it just seemed like sort of everybody was playing like that. I don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
And then sort of toward the end of the year, it just sort of like you started playing for your teammate, and you started trying to pick up this teammate that was injured, or and everybody just looked like they were craving the ball. Like I want the before it looked like don't hit the ball to me, and they're like okay, it's I got to go hit it. And then this at the end of the year it was like I want the ball, I need it, give it to me, I'm gonna help her out. Like how is that? You think that's part of being a team?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think some of that pressure comes from just the legacy of the program, though. Like you don't want to be the first team to let whatever streak down or whatever.
Right.
And I remember talking to the girls and like, well, we just don't want to lose your home win streak, which goes back to like September of 2015 or something. It was like 80 some matches,
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what happened in 2015 and 16 and 17. I care what's happening right now.
And
like,
the teams are way better now than they were.
And I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Like, we
Yeah.
just have to show up and play what's right in front of us.
Right.
Don't get tripped up on those things that are outside. Like, we're gonna take it one step at a time. And once they figured that out, they just rolled.
Right. Abby, your mom and dad, Tracy and Jim, and I'm not just saying this, because the camera's running, but they might be the nicest people on planet Earth. What trait have you learned from your mom and dad that you think has been very helpful?
This is probably more of like a quality, but I would say good communication. They've made it so like I can talk to them about anything and like not feel judged, and we can have open and honest and like trustworthy conversations.
The Jimbo, that's why that's Jimbo right there.
Yeah.
And Tracy.
And I just want to point out you didn't say that about Pete.
Well, he's a good dad too. He has good communication.
Not here, but
Yeah. Well, he's watching online.
Sarah's
He
one of
probably
the
wants to
nicest
check it
people,
out.
yeah.
Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yep.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Favorite school lunch entree.
Cheesy pull-aparts.
Okay. Favorite class you've taken at River Falls High School.
Nutrition and wellness.
Best player to watch in the BRC this year.
Maddie Range.
Okay. Best player to watch in the BRC that's not a Wildcat.
Okay. Ellie Burns.
Okay. Favorite vacation you've taken with your family.
Hawaii.
Okay. Describe your mom's demeanor when your dad is hunting elk in the middle of nowhere and has no phone service for 10 days.
Pretty stressed and on edge, I would say.
What is your favorite River Falls restaurant?
I'm gonna have to go with Juniors.
Okay. They have good food there too. Which one of your teammates is the most studious?
That's kind of hard. They're all.
Definitely Allie Larson.
Okay. All right. The flicker. So you've had a few days of practice. Which Wildcat teammate is the most improved from last year at this point in time?
I would say.
Not saying others aren't good,
Yeah.
but who's the most improved?
Charlie.
Okay. Charlie Cat Hot Chicken. All right, so Maddie Asher, you're next on deck here. You and I did some pre-interview research, and I found out that your favorite movie is The Notebook. And tell me why that's your favorite movie.
It's just a good movie, and who doesn't love a good old rom-com?
So here's a trivia question for you. So the guy that played the old Noah Calhoun, his name's James Garner in real life. Trivia question for you. What popular 1970s private eye TV show did James Garner star in? And I'll buy you some Charlie Cat Hot Chicken if you get this right.
Well, I can't remember the name, but I know it's the Something Files, right?
That's
Is it?
yeah, Rockford Files. Yeah. How did you?
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's solid.
I looked it
I'll
up.
buy you a half a chicken.
I'll buy you a half a chicken.
Half a sandwich. I'll get the other half.
Oh, good.
So if you could, I'll ask you this question that's similar to one that Maddie had. If you could invite any 3 people to dinner, who would you invite and why would you do that?
I would do Taylor Swift because she's my favorite artist. I would also do Noah Kahn because he's another one of my favorites. And then I would do Joe Burrow because it's just Joe Burrow. Who doesn't love
Quarterback
him?
for the Bengals.
Let me just say, though, if she invites Taylor Swift and she doesn't invite Maddie Range, Maddie would never forgive you.
That's a good point there, too. What is your favorite part of going to River Falls High School?
Just like the people in the community here, they're always so welcoming.
Okay. If you could have any car, money's no object, what car would you like to drive?
I'd have a 2024 Cactus Gray Bronco.
Hey, you even got the color right. Jeez, okay. This is a tough question, but what are you most passionate about?
My family and friends, and just being there for them.
Okay. Are you ready for your rapid fire question round?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You hop in the car after a game, where do you go?
Quick Trip.
Okay. What are your 2 favorite foods?
Pickles and tacos.
Okay. Who's your favorite, well, we know this already. Who's your favorite singer?
Taylor Swift.
Yep, you just said that. Favorite fast food restaurant?
Probably Chick-fil-A.
Okay. If you could choose a superpower, what would you pick?
I think mind reading.
What is your favorite family tradition that the Ashers do?
Probably like family vacations.
Okay. Name one place, speaking of that, name one place to visit on your bucket list.
Greece.
Okay. Name something that takes your breath away.
Killers.
That wasn't where I was going with it, but that's a good answer. What is something that scares you?
if we're like going from like a really like deep thing, like losing family members and like people I
Okay.
care about, otherwise like getting into a car crash.
Well, that's, yeah, okay. I was thinking again like spiders or snakes. But
I was thinking killers.
yeah. What is your earliest memory as a kid?
When I was at my neighbor's house and my sister was leaning forward on a swing and I thought it was really cool, so I did it and I fell off and broke my arm.
Jeez. Okay, so we're going to go over, I'm going to list, because we have some new nicknames for some of the new players, and I'm going to just read them off real quick, and you just decide which one is your favorite nickname, okay? All right, so we have the Pilot, Ava Peters, Marvelous Marvin, Maddie Range, Nuke Nesbitt, that's Addie Nesbitt, the Biscuit, Abby Gilbertson, the Acrobat, Adia Johnson, the Boom, Amelie Pankinen, the Deuce, Brooke Dusick, the Goose, Olivia Derry, the Flicker, Allie Larson, and the long term is the Nodak Flicker. Allie Larson, and so then new one, the Blizzard, Haley Matzik. She loves Dairy Queen Blizzards. Oh. And I was kind of thinking like maybe down there, she's serving, like turn that Blizzard upside down and serve it up. The Bandit, Bailey Bishop. Charlie Cat, Hot Chicken, Charlie Stigelski. And the Slasher, Maddie Asher. So what's your favorite nickname of your teammates?
I think the Acrobat for Adia, because whenever she dives, she always does her little roll after.
All right. Good work. Okay. All right. Pass the mic down to Ava. Ava, for some people watching tonight, tells them, kind of explain kind of what goes through your head as a setter. Like the pass is coming, the set's coming, you're about ready to set it. Kind of, what are you looking for in certain situations?
I feel like not much is going through my head because I feel like at our level there's such fast pace. Like Sarah said, I don't really have time to stop and think. Like before I get the ball, I'm looking on what's going on the other side of the net. I set the ball and I have to go cover. Like I'm always moving. I don't have time to stop and think about something.
Gotcha.
Much of her processing happens before the ball's live. Like she needs to know who's on the front row on the other side, where the block's at.
Right. So tell me about that.
Yeah.
So your pre-set process. Talk about that.
Well, first I have to get to the net and I have to, get square and see where the ball goes, and then I have to see who's on the other side of the net, how big the block is, or if somebody's not in the right position, if I'm in the position to send it over myself and dump it, or if there is, say, a small blocker on Maddie, then I'm going to set Maddie the ball so she can go up and kill it. I feel like I'm always it's a lot of thinking, but it's fast, and I don't have time to just stop and think about one thing. It's just all processing.
Okay. What do you like most about being a setter?
I like that I can get my hands on the ball a lot. I like that I'm a part of every play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to kind of go back into second gear, kind of have fun with this one, but so Luke and Dan, the Wildcat super fans, I saw some
Danny,
stuff.
not Dan.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah.
Luke and Danny. They set the themes for the football and volleyball games, and but to me, like the theme for the football game, it's like the Hick and then the USA, it's kind of getting repetitive, and I was just wondering. It always seems like there's guys, that are the super fans. Like, are we ever going to have some Wildcat girls be the super fans and decide those themes?
Well, for me personally, I don't need a title to be called a super fan. I am a super fan.
Okay.
Self-proclaimed.
Okay.
If you were watching the football game last night, you would have seen that Maddie and I were singing the school song after every touchdown.
Good work. Good job.
I got to tell you too, Greg, I was doing 2-on-1, so I had a different player sitting on the box with me every 10 minutes, and we're talking, and I look up, and in walks Amelie and Maddie in cowboy boots, and their shirt, flannel, whatever. And Amelie's got on jean cutoff shorts, and I said, "What are you doing?" to the girls. And Maddie goes, "I need to make my jorts for the game tonight."
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Oh, okay." And Amelie's like, "Well, I already had some. These are my mom's. She paints in them." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Could have been Aaron's. Could have been Aaron's. I could see that guy wearing some jorts.
Yeah, they.
For sure.
They looked good when they left for the game last night. They looked very hickish.
So Ava, this year's Wildcat volleyball team, it's just total luck of the draw, but they're the youngest siblings in their family birth orders. If you look at it, I think there's 3 that aren't, and it's honestly almost the entire team. But some of the classic traits of the youngest siblings, They're funny, they're risk takers, they're rebellious, they're attention seeking, but they're also very persistent. That's what it said online anyway. How would you collect? I mean, if you think about it, like you're the youngest, I mean, all the way through the line, like everybody's in. How would you collectively describe your team's personality?
I'd say we're all, like, a majority of us are very extroverted people. Like, I feel like none of us are scared to show our true colors, and I feel like we all just feel super comfortable around each other, and I feel like that's all why we get along so well. And even if, like, there is a more quieter person, like, they're not afraid to be themselves with us because we're never going to judge. Like, most of the time, like, if there's somebody who says something stupid, like, there's going to be somebody who says something even stupider 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
It doesn't last long. Something else is coming.
Somebody's going to top it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good deal. As Ava, as a 2-year captain, this is a hard question, but what is the most difficult part of being a leader on your team?
I would say the most difficult thing is when you are going through that storming phase and there are people looking at you like what to do, and if you don't know what to do, then you feel caught and you don't really know what to say or do. So I feel like for me the hardest part is thinking fast, because I don't want anybody else to have to panic or know what's going on inside of my head. Like, I want everybody else to feel good about who we are and what we're doing.
Okay, good answer.
I'm glad she didn't say dealing with me.
Yeah, no.
Thanks.
It seemed like, and we talked about this actually when you were talking, so I'll skip that one. Ava, you ready for rapid fire questions?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Favorite Vampire's Diary character, Stefan or Damon?
Damon.
Okay. Favorite pet you have?
Ralphie.
Favorite sister?
Oh.
Depends on the day, but I would have to say majority of the time, Ella.
Who do you like borrowing clothes from more, Ella or Maddie?
Maddie.
Okay. Favorite teacher of all time in the River Falls School District?
That's a really good. Does it have to be like a teacher, or can it be like?
We'll say
office?
Employee.
Crail.
Okay.
Or Ali Igo. Oh wait, or Coach Bishop.
Oh.
Okay.
She's got lots.
Yeah, that's okay. You're allowed
Good.
to. You have the mic. You can say whatever you want. First memory you have as a child?
I think it was either my second or my third birthday. I want to say second though, and I got this like kind of like stationary zebra that just kind of like bounces up and down. And I remember getting on it, and my sister Ella pushed me off of it and she started going on it, and everybody was just kind of yelling at her. I was crying, and she was just on the zebra, keep going.
Let's see here. Best BRC player this year?
Maddie Range.
Best BRC player, not as a non-Wildcat?
Ashlyn Schroeder.
Okay. She's from Memorial, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Memorial.
Future teammate of Maddie Range.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Man, Southwest State is getting a ton of BRC
They got
people.
Paige Diamonds from Chippewa
Yeah,
and
that's
Ashlyn
right.
from Memorial and our very
Well, it
own.
goes back to what we were talking about. I mean, back in when you had the 80-something,
Right. The level of play wasn't where it is now.
Yeah, how many people in the BRC in 2015 were going to the NSIC? Not that many. But the game you're looking forward to most this season?
I would say there's a lot of games. I mean, I'm always excited for a game, but I would say I'm most excited for our Charger Rally Tournament in Milwaukee.
Okay, there's gonna be some good teams there. And last question, and hold on, second to last question. What do you like most about your head coach, Miss Sarah Cayley?
I like that she's never afraid to push me, and I like that she's going to be honest with me because I know she's going to make me better, and she has my best interest at heart always.
Okay, all right. Okay, this is the last question. So I'm going to say your teammates' names one by one, and you describe them with one word, and then we'll wrap it up.
Does it have to be volleyball related or just like in general?
No, and
anything.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever first word that comes to mind. So Marvelous Marvin, Maddie Range.
This is rapid fire.
Yeah, it's rapid fire. One word. You can do two if you want. One.
funny. I'm trying. Like,
Well, that's all right.
She's
That's
funny.
one
Moving
word.
on.
Nuke Nesbitt.
kind.
The Biscuit Abby Gilbertson.
Silly.
The Acrobat Adia Johnson.
This isn't gonna make much sense, but mom. She's like a mom.
Mom.
Of the team.
Okay. Yeah, that works. The Boom Amelie Pankinen.
This is gonna sound mean, but like stupid in a funny way.
She's like our comic relief.
The Deuce Brooke Dusick.
Responsible.
The Goose Olivia Derry.
Intense.
Okay. The Flicker Allie Larson.
Respectful.
Oh.
The Blizzard Haley Matzik.
Gentle.
The Bandit Bailey Bishop.
Spunky.
Okay. I like these words actually.
Charlie Cat Hot Chicken Charlie Sigelski.
I don't know. There's so many words coming in right now. Also silly.
Okay. And last
silly
but certainly
together.
not least, the Slasher Maddie Asher.
Also kind.
Okay. Well, Coach Kaylee and Wildcat seniors, that about does it for me for the 2024 River Falls Wildcat preseason coaches show. We appreciate you tuning in, and we're looking forward to bringing you the action all season long. Have a good night.
That was so good.